this month, we're gonna be painting turtles on a canvas, and then you're gonna make a cute little turtle craft. So go ahead and set up your area. I have some rinse water, I have all of my paints, I have brushes, a pencil, I have my table covered so that if I make a mess, I can just get it on the tablecloth, throw it away. I am wearing an art shirt, so make sure that you cover up your clothes with an art shirt, apron, or just wear an old t-shirt, and then you'll be ready to go. Make sure you also have a blow dryer nearby and have a grown-up help you with that if you need to. So go ahead and get set up and let's get ready to paint some turtles. Okay, we're back and we are set up and ready to go. I'm gonna start by painting my water. So I'm gonna get my canvas up and ready to go. I am gonna open my blue paint and I'm gonna open my white paint. Now in your kit, you have a little container that has a G on top. That is for glitter. And so don't accidentally use your glitter instead of the white. So once you have that ready to go, you are simply going to take the bigger brush in your kit, or the biggest one, go ahead and dip it in the white, and then I'm just gonna wipe on some white around here. Not a whole lot, and you really can't see it because it's white on white. Then I'm gonna set the white aside and I'm gonna get my blue. I filled my brush pretty thick, but when I paint this is gonna be my water that my turtle goes in. When I paint my background, I'm just gonna make sure I cover everything and that it's all the way to the edge and that I smooth it. So once I get the whole entire canvas covered, then I wanna make sure that I use my brush to smooth it. So I'm gonna turn it over, probably gonna get my fingers dirty, but that's okay because the paint washes off of skin. It just doesn't wash out of clothes very well. All right, now, once I have that, I'm gonna come this way. I'm going to do what I call sweeping the canvas. You may remember that I've done this before. I'm gonna go all the way across, all the way back. I'm gonna do mine pretty quick. This keeps it from being lumpy so that when I go to blow dry it, it'll blow dry pretty fast and I won't have big lumps of paint. Also on this part, notice that I go right onto the tablecloth. That's a very good reason to have your table covered, okay? So my giant brush, I'm done with it for now, and so it's just going in my rinse water. If I don't put it in my rinse water, there's a risk that that paint will dry and I won't be able to get it out. Here we go. I'm done with this part and I am going to go to the blow dryer. You go to the blow dryer too. You can go ahead and pause the video, and after I'm done blowing this dry, I'll be back. Okay, for this next part, we're gonna be drawing turtles. I'm gonna show you the one that you should also already have a picture of, and I think I'm gonna have to go like this because it's upside down. I put my two turtles like this, and they're swimming. Mine are sea turtles, or it can be a regular turtle, it doesn't really matter, but mine's a sea turtle because octopuses don't actually live anywhere but in the ocean. So I'm gonna move this, and then I'm gonna show you. Today, I'm actually just gonna make one turtle. So I've already drawn this, and what I did was I put my template down and then I just traced it with my pencil. I added the head, the arms, the legs, and the tail. I'm going to do this on a piece of white paper for you. So if I wanted two turtles, I would come down and do one in this corner and then maybe one up here. If you want just one turtle like I did, you're gonna do it in the middle. And so I'm gonna take my pencil, again, I'm just demonstrating, and I am going to trace all the way around. I've got my body shape. Once I have my body, I'm gonna do my head. Now the head is, I'm drawing super duper light here. It is a circle, but to do the neck, You have to have it so it's sticking out of the shell. So once I get that, I can trace my circle. You have a choice here too, and I'm gonna show you this. I painted my eyeballs. I also put eyeballs in your kit, and so you can glue on eyeballs if you want to. I am not gonna add my eyeballs right now. I will add them after I get my base coat on. So I get my head. Next thing, I just come straight down. I put a little triangle shape here. That's my tail peeking out. And then to do a sea turtle, you are going to start at the top of the shell and you are going to draw a curved line that goes away from the head. And so you're gonna go like that. See how they come and they kind of are gonna wrap around and point to the tail? You're gonna do the same thing for the back legs. So it's kind of like you're drawing a stick figure, but we're gonna fatten them up. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of my lines to make it into a sea turtle. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a bend and then I'm gonna curve it back up and make it touch. So this time I'll start here in case that's easier for you. They're more like flippers because they're swimming. And then on this one, I'm just gonna curve it like so. Okay, so I have my basic body right here. I'm gonna move this out of the way. I'm gonna grab my canvas, the one that I actually drew on, and now I'm ready to paint. So I am going to be using a light green. I'm gonna take the lid off. You should have a darker green. Take the lid off of that one. And there's a couple different greens, so you may not have the exact same colors as me. And then I've got a yellow. I am going to start by grabbing my smaller brush. So you should have a smaller brush in your kit. I have these two. I've got this one and then I've got the tinier one. I'm gonna get the tinier one and I am going to start with yellow. I'm gonna come in and I am just going to outline the head yellow. Once I've outlined it, I'm gonna dip into my lightest green and I'm gonna start filling it in. So I'm actually kind of mixing yellow and the lighter green, and I'm doing a pretty light colored head. I'm gonna do a darker shell. Once I get that filled in, I'm actually gonna dip a little bit into this darker green and I'm gonna blend it. Can you see how I'm blending my colors? I really like the way that looks. If I were using too big of a brush, this would be really, really hard to do. So I moved to the smaller brush. I'm gonna repeat that. I'm gonna do yellow. I'm gonna go ahead and do all 4 of these with a yellow stripe. Boop, boop, boop. Then I'm gonna get some more yellow. I'm gonna do the tail. Now, my brush is still dirty. I'm done with the yellow, so I'm gonna move it out of the way. I'm gonna get my lighter green and I'm gonna fill it in. I'm gonna come around. I'm using that skinny brush. I'm trying to stay in my lines that I drew. It's okay if I go out a little bit because we can outline it. But this light green and the yellow, and it's okay too, by the way, if I get it on the shell, because we can cover the lighter color with the darker color in just a minute. So there are my legs, and then I gotta get a little bit on the tail. Once I've done that, I'm coming back to the darker green again. And this time I just kind of stirred it a little bit. I'm gonna make a stripe and a stripe and a stripe and a stripe. I didn't rinse my brush because I want my colors to blend. So as I go, see how I'm doing that? As I work, this makes my colors blend. And so turtles aren't gonna be a solid color. When you look at them up close, you're gonna see a variation of colors. Get a little more of this one. And so it helps to know how to use your acrylics and to blend them. Acrylics are really good paints for blending. Notice how I went right onto my shell and I don't even mind. That's because remember, I'm gonna be painting my shell and I've decided to paint my shell a darker color. So I'm actually gonna go around the head again. It's okay if my head gets a little bit bigger because it was already kind of small. Okay, I've got my legs done. I'm gonna take my baby brush. I'm popping it over here in my rinse water. My rinse water over here. And now I'm going back to a bigger brush. This bigger one, if it's the one you used for the background, make sure you've rinsed it really good and that you have really gotten all the water out. But I actually have this size brush too. And so I'm gonna use it. I'm coming in and I've got this darker green And I am going to go ahead, ooh, I like that color. And I'm gonna fill in with that bigger brush. I like to outline first, but I'm gonna fill in the shell. There we go. Just going kind of fast. Once I get my whole entire shell covered, let's see, I'm gonna put some patterns on the back, but we're gonna worry about that in a little bit. So right now, I'm getting a solid base coat. So when I painted this, that's my base coat, this is my water. You notice that I drew my turtle with pencil and I painted right on top of the blue. That's because when you paint with acrylics, you can layer colors, but always make sure they are dry. So I have this. I'm gonna just play with it. I can leave my brush green because blue and yellow make green, and I'm gonna dip a little bit in the blue. I just wanna see what it would change. Ooh, I kinda like that. So if you wanna play with your colors, just make sure you don't have big lumps. And there are certain colors that will not mix very well. So red, for example, don't mix it with your green. They are opposites. They are called complementary colors. But when you mix them, it doesn't even look good. It looks really, really bad. Okay, I've got a little bit of that light green. I'm just playing with it. It's kind of fun. I like to mix colors. If you have grabbed, like I did, I had that spare, I'm gonna move this aside. I had that spare piece of paper. You can also always, this is just typing paper, you can test how colors mix if you want to, and that kind of gives you an idea on a piece of paper. So before you put it on your canvas, you can always test it out. Now, I have the whole entire shell done. And I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna blow dry. So while I blow dry, my brush goes in the water. I don't want it to dry out. I also have this one that I used. It's going in the water. So head to the blow dryer. When you come back, we're gonna make patterns on the turtle shell. This is an example of some patterns. You can actually do different kinds of patterns. I used a sponge to make these, and I have a sponge. Normally, I would go ahead and put a second coat on here, but because I'm making patterns on the back, I am not gonna do a second coat. I am going to take the lighter green, I'm gonna dip it into here, got it? And I am just gonna go around in a circle like this, and I'm gonna polka dot the back. I can get away with probably 3 polka dots. Notice when I set it, I spin it. If your sponge, if when you squish it, it oozes out and makes a bubble, you've got too much paint. So I am barely touching the surface of the paint. Set it, spin it, lift it. Do another one, you can tap it on the table, set it, spin it, lift it. And I came all the way around. Now, I'm gonna do one in the middle. Let's see, get some more paint. And then I actually, I'm trying to contemplate if I want to do something different. I kind of like this. I think I'll add some more polka dots. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a nice polka dotted little guy. So now my sponge is really dirty. If I want to use it again, I want to wash this in the sink. If I stick it in here, which I'm going to demonstrate, then when it comes out, it's really, really drippy. See that? And so you can rinse them in here, but I think it's easier for me to go to the sink and then I make sure I really wash it. I might even use some soap and I get all those colors out. When we make our craft, we're gonna be using this end of the sponge as well. So actually I'll show you right now. I'm gonna grab the white and I can go with the white and I'm gonna just make eyeball. See how I made 2 nice little polka dots just with that? I could also, and I think I will do this, I'm gonna take the end of this, I'm gonna get that dark green, and I'm gonna go boop. See how I can make a little pattern inside a pattern? My paint isn't dry. This would work a lot better if my first coat was dry, but when it's really wet, it kind of swishes a little. So feel free to stop and go to the blow dryer, but I'm just gonna make a pattern. It doesn't matter if your pattern looks like a turtle pattern or if you do lots and lots of just random patterns on the back just to make him kind of artsy and cute. So there he is. All right, now that I'm done with that and I'm done with my sponge, I wanna go wash it in the sink later. everything is really wet, I'm gonna go ahead with my black and I'm gonna do some black on it. I'm getting my tiniest brush. So always remember, big brush for big things, little brush for little things. When I use it, I rest my hand so that my hand is nice and steady. And I am going to add an outline to my arms and legs, like so. And I'm gonna get this guy. Ooh, I really like the way the black outline makes it really show up. And so this is something too, it can be hard to outline. Notice I'm turning my canvas. I turned it because I don't want to get my hands in the paint. So that's why I turned the canvas. There we go. One of my favorite Disney movies is Finding Nemo, because I really, really like the sea turtles. I love that part of it. And we went to, let's see, we've been to Belize and we've been to Cabo, and we have gone snorkeling. And what we really wanted to see was a sea turtle, and we didn't get to see a sea turtle, but we did get to swim with some sharks. So, all right, now here's the deal. My eyeballs are really, really wet with that white. So I don't want to paint the inside of my eyeballs just yet. I am going to, I think, let's see, I'm going to do some patterns with the black around the outside of my circles because I kind of like the way that looks. I'm going to show you on here. There it is. And I put X's on the top. I kind of like the way that looks. These are yellow with a black, with a darker green swirl. And when I did that, then I took the green and I just swirled it inside. So if you want to use the black and you want to work on some other kinds of like designs and things, turtle shells are so, so cool. And they have all kinds of patterns to them. So go ahead, finish off this guy, go to the blow dryer, and then we are going to come back. We're going to finish the eyeballs, and we are going to see if we want to add any other kinds of fish. So as soon as you're done, hit the blow dryer. Ooh, look, I like that. Okay, my turtle is dry. I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna rinse that skinny brush, and I'm gonna finish off the face. I'm actually gonna take my brush and I'm gonna twist it so that the tip is nice and twisty. I'm gonna get my paint. Let's just set out again. I've got a nice skinny tip. I barely have any paint on my brush, so I don't wanna get a whole lot to do details. I'm gonna make mine a girl, so here she goes. And I think I'll name her Frankie. Hello, Frankie, my turtle. And she lives in the ocean, and she swims around, and she makes lots of friends. So I'm gonna outline the eyes. Remember that I said you also have some eyeballs that if you would rather glue on, just glue them on with Elmer's glue, or you can use a hot glue gun with your grown-up's help. Okay, there she is. Now I am going to do a little smile. So her little mouth would go right here, and it's gonna be a teeny little smile. And then I have to decide if I want to do anything else. I can be done and just have a turtle swimming in the ocean. I can do, I'm gonna grab this. I can take my white if I want to, and I can make like some waves in random places. I'll do that just for fun. They look like upside down birds. I'll do an extra one. I also can do some bubbles like coming out of the turtle's mouth. I'm gonna take the end of the stick, I'm gonna roll it in here and kind of wipe off the green as best I can. I'm gonna dip it right into the white, and I'm gonna do bubble, bubble, bubble. I really like that idea. And then if I want to, I can add some other fish. So I don't have a huge amount of colors, but we can mix colors. So I can take the red and the orange. I'm going to get my bigger brush, or medium, whatever size you have. This one has a lot of green in it, so I really have to swish it, make sure it's dry. And then I'm gonna take the lid, I'm gonna do a scoop of yellow, I'm gonna get a little bit of red, and I'm gonna mix. And that's how I'm gonna make orange. So I mix it, it's a lot more yellow than it is red. And then if I want to, I can even add, sometimes I like to add a little white just to make it more opaque, otherwise it can be transparent. So on this one, I have some orange fish, and I also have some purple octopuses. Purple, you're gonna use blue and red. Yellow and red are gonna make orange. If I want to make, you can remember that you have, if you had grabbed another piece of paper and you can practice. And so I went ahead and look, that's my orange color. I made it more yellow than I did reddish, but I like that color and I think it's gonna cover really well. So I'm gonna take my bigger brush, I'm gonna drop it in there. I'm gonna make sure my smaller brush is clean, move that aside, and I can make my turtle some friends. And so I'm actually gonna put him up here by his head. So for a little fish, I make an oval, not quite a circle, more of an oval. So it's longer and flatter instead of round. Although if you did round, it would be just fine. Okay, remember earlier when we were doing the head and the legs, how I dipped? If it's ooh, I actually kind of like that. If I dip it in there, I can add color on top and I can mix right on my canvas. So if I felt like it was too light or too dark, I can add colors. All right, once I have that, I am actually going to make some, let's see, let's make the tail. So I'm gonna make a big tail, kind of like an angel fish is kind of the look I'm going for, and I'm gonna make it wavy. Then I'm gonna take more paint and I'm gonna make the fins. I think that's what they're called. My brain doesn't always work, guys. All right, there we go. Ooh, I like that. All right, mix this in a little bit more. I'm gonna get a little bit of red and just kind of do like some decoration on it, because you know, if you've seen like fish in the ocean, a lot of times they do have some decoration. And then I'm gonna add just right here, those are my lips. I'll put some stripes on here. Okay, so now he has a fishy friend that's swimming, and I said he, but it's not, it's Frankie the girl fish. All right, and then let's call that Lola, and then we will make a fish. So I've got Frankie, Lola, and let's make this one Ruby. They're all girls. So here goes my Ruby fish. I'm gonna put her over here. Ooh, she's fat, and I like her. Nothing like a chubby fish. I'm getting a little bit of red. I'm gonna do some lips. Boop, boop, boop. A little bit more red, a little bit more yellow. I like having these lids to mix in. Just they make a nice color and you can always just throw it away. All right, this time, make a nice big tail. I'm gonna do, ooh, I like that. And then I'm gonna go this way. There we go. Get a little bit more. And then I like the red accents, so I'm gonna do some more of those. And then you decide how you wanna do it. So there's some red accents. And do some on the tail. You know, because fish are friends, not food. That's also from Finding Nemo. Okay, got those. Once I'm done with those, I'm gonna rinse this brush real quick, dry it, and then I am going to use the end of this paintbrush. I'm gonna stick it in the white. It's not the brush, it's the end. Dip it in, and I'm gonna make some bubbles. Boop, boop, boop. Tinier bubbles, because they would have tinier air holes. All right, so there I have some fish. I need eyes, but I need to let them dry. The last thing for an idea is to do, I'm gonna use my greens here. You can do some seaweed. So I'm gonna pretend like he's swimming up in the ocean, and this is the bottom of the ocean, and I'm gonna just paint in some seaweed. I could do some coral and things like that too. So if you want to look up like some pictures of coral, you could. Remember what I said, when you're mixing your greens, you don't need to rinse your brush. So I'm just gonna do a few little, I like that. Got two different colors. I'm blending as I go. I'm using the smaller brush to keep it nice and skinny. I'm gonna do a couple more. I don't have to do a whole lot because we don't know how tall it is. We don't know how deep the ocean is. If you're snorkeling, you're in a place where the ocean's not super duper deep. Okay, got that. Rinsing my brush really good. Done with the lid. I'm gonna put that on the red. Where'd it go? This. I'm gonna grab that black and I'm gonna outline. I go slow when I'm outlining.
using the skinniest brush and making sure that my hand is steady. Look how I wiggle my brush. That's to make it look like they're moving in the water, because water is constantly moving. And so especially the ocean with the tide going in and out. So we do that. Got one more. And then I'm going to add some eyes for my little fish. And I'm just gonna make a closed eye like that and put some little eyelashes on Ruby. And then I'm gonna come over here to Lola and I'm gonna put some eyelashes on my little Lola. I'm gonna take my brush, rinse it. I'm gonna squeeze and twist so that that is skinny again. And I'm gonna get a little more paint and I am going to do a little outlining on my baby fish. Here we go, like so. I'll do it here. And you guys, if you don't like the way the outlining looks, you're the artist and you get to make that decision. I just like the way the outlining looks. Okay, I'm done. Dropping the brush. And so we are finished with this part of our art project, unless you wanna add glitter. I'm gonna put this one back over. You can't see it very well, but I did put glitter on the back of the turtle's shell. So you can do glitter if you want to. You don't have to do glitter. You also can do jewels if you want to. So I could glue jewels on here if I wanted to, but I'm not going to right now. I think I'm done.